All right, welcome to our garden classroom today. To start off, I want all of you to take a look at these two piles of dirt or soil that we have today. And I just want you to think in your head, which of these two piles, if you had a seed to plant and to grow big and strong, which of these two do you think we should plant our seed in? Just think to yourself first. And think about why. And when I say go, I want you to turn and tell your shoulder partner which one we should plant it in. Go.
I think we should plant it in the moist one because it's very moist and it's moist and it has lots of nutrients in it.
Bump, bada bump, bump.
Bump, bump.
Great, thank you for all sharing your ideas. Sean, can you share with us which one of these piles do you think we should plant our seed in?
The one that's on the right.
And why?
Because it's moist.
Great. Do you notice anything different about the color, Sean?
That one's dark brown, that one's brown.
Yeah, thank you for noticing that. He's absolutely right. This one comes from compost, and you can see that it's much darker in color. It's a little more moist, like Sean said, and that's going to make it really the perfect conditions to grow our seed in. Whereas this is really dusty and light in color. This does not have as many nutrients, and so planting a seed in this soil is going to be hard for it to grow big and strong. So today we are going to learn how to create the best conditions for creating compost. And compost comes from the word decompose. Everyone say decompose!
Decompose.
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 Decompose means to break things down into little tiny pieces. And so when you have things in your garden, like leaves that were once on a tree, of our avocado tree, and it starts to break down, it decomposes and goes into little tiny pieces. And things in nature do this on their own. But here in the garden, we want to speed this process up. And to do that, we want to create just the right environment with just the right conditions so that things can decompose more quickly. And then we can take the finished product, add it to our beds, and make it so the soil is really rich, full of nutrients, and helps our seeds grow into nice, big, tall, healthy plants. So we're going to make what's called a mini compost cake. Everyone think in your head right now of a delicious cake with a layer of chocolate and vanilla, and then maybe strawberry icing, and then another layer of cake. Go like this if that sounds really good to you. But instead of a cake that we eat, we're going to make a compost cake. And the first ingredient we need for our mini compost cakes are what I call the browns, or things that are rich in carbon. So, kids, find some dead leaves or little twigs nearby you on the ground. Just look beside you. And I want you to take them and kind of break them up and start to put them in a little pile. If you happen to have some straw, you can put those in. Great, that's the first layer of our compost cake. So the next thing we need to add to our compost cake is what I call the greens, or things that are rich in nutrients and in nitrogen. So things that are rich in nitrogen from our garden can be scraps that have been clipped, so things like this. They can be food scraps from our kitchen or our cafeteria, like I have some carrot peels. And same thing, find some of those and break them into smaller pieces and add it to your pile. So if you want to come on over here and grab some, I have some from earlier that we clipped from the garden. Just grab a little handful and take it back to your mini compost pile and start to break it up into small pieces. The reason we want to do that is because it creates more surface area and allows things to decompose at a faster rate. Now, the next piece, after we have our browns, then we have our greens. We want to add actually a little bit of completed compost or soil. So I'm going to come around and in all of your mini compost piles, I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit on like this. And now the fourth layer, I'm going to need a little student helper. Sean, could you help us? We need just a little bit of moisture. So I'm using this watering can, and Sean, I would like you to go to each person's mini compost pile and just do a little drip for 1 second each. So go ahead and do yours first.
I found a seed.
Nice.
I'm putting in my compost.
You put in your compost for it to decompose.
Like a grub.
What? Okay, now go to the next person's mini compost pile. 1 second. Go. Okay, now we're gonna repeat that process again. We're gonna layer it, and layer it with the browns, greens, compost, and then water. All right, great job everyone making your mini compost cakes. Now we're gonna take our individual compost cakes and we're gonna put it into our class compost bin that we have for our garden classroom. So when I say go and your name, I want you to scoop it up as much as you can, and you're gonna walk over and you're going to gently place it in to the place in our compost bin where we want to add scraps. Sean, you're gonna go first, go. Your compost pile or your compost bins in your garden classroom provides many opportunities for engagement. One thing is to sift the finished compost into a container that then you can use to go add to your beds or other places in your garden. So one place to do that, or one way to do that, is to have kids in your garden use a trowel to scoop, put it on top of a tray, and this is a tray that's just a nursery tray that comes from your garden store. And notice I've picked out one that has small holes, not one that has too large of holes, because that's not going to be very helpful when we're sifting. And once they have done that, then you need a buddy or a partner to do the sifting. So Sean, can you take the trowel and can you do 5 scoops from our finished compost area and put it right on top of this tray? Put the trowel right back in. Now this bin is a little bit small than what's ideal. You want one that's maybe a little bit bigger or flat so that it can catch all the compost. Then you're gonna need a buddy. So Sean, can you stand on this side? We're gonna both grab the edges and we're just gonna gently shake it back and forth. Okay, and now all the big pieces are left on top, which I can put right back into the compost bin to try to decompose into smaller pieces. And then inside, we have nice compost ready to go be added to our beds.